Hello and welcome to episode 82 of the Movie Bros podcast. We are your hosts, as always, Duncan and Hayden. Bonsoir,
Bon
bonjour, hello, good evening.
Bonsoir?
It's the good morning version of bonjour, yes.
Okay, all right, we're fancy here. Welcome back, everybody. If you're a returning listener, you know what's going on. If you've somehow found us based upon the movie title, that would be astonishing. But if that's the case, we are two brothers who love movies, watch movies, record ourselves complaining, arguing, praising, and talking about movies. We cover all sorts of genres here, all sorts of time periods. Take a scroll through our other episodes. We have plenty of other genres and films to talk about. Special features included, where we'll talk about things maybe pertaining to holidays or, special anniversary type dates for significant films. You can follow us on Instagram at @themovie_bros, and I believe we also have a YouTube channel where we are uploading podcast episodes as well. So you can also find us there. I think that's it, Duncan. Do you usually say anything else?
Nope. So this week, Hayden and audience, whoever, whatever, we watched and are going to be talking about Into the Blue. And before we get into general discussion, what are some fast film facts so people kind of know what this is, Hayden?
Well, we are talking about Into the Blue from 2005, officially a legally drinking age movie. It's 21 years old. This is directed by John Stockwell and written by Matt Johnson. This stars Paul Walker, Jessica Alba, Scott Conn, Ashley Scott, Josh Brolin, featuring James Frain, Tyson Beckford, and Dwayne Odway. So this does have music, but it is kind of incidental. But regardless, the composer for this is Paul Hoslinger, and cinematography here is Shane Hurlbut. Sounds like a made-up name. Hurlbut, Hurlbut. I'm sure he hates it too. And then some of the information I had here was, okay, what else has this director done? And it is just a complete slew of kind of crappy made for streaming, made for home video movies, and hasn't made anything since 2017. Interesting enough, though, this is not the only like diving and ocean themed movie he's made. He's also made a movie called Dark Tide with Holly Berry and a movie called Blue Crush with Kate Bosworth and Michelle Rodriguez. So for a while there, he may have been the go-to guy for the B movie era of like diving and surfing movies for whatever reason.
Yeah, I watched. So you're gonna be only probably gonna be find this movie online, which is Tubi or wherever. But
Sure.
if you go to YouTube, there's tons behind the scenes stuff, and a lot of it was him talking about, oh, like, when I go to do other movies, it's great to come back to the water. This is where,
Sure.
yeah, it sounds like he is. That's where his skill set is filming underwater stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, and we'll get into it later, but that is where the movie excels.
Oh, absolutely.
If it excels anywhere, it is the underwater scenes. If you take that however you will. I also found out this has a sequel
Yes, it does. Well, I mean, it's a sequel,
called
but
The Reef, starring someone named Chris Carmack and Laura Vandervoot, and it just looks like they hired underwear models.
well, again, it's. Uh, I think it's not. I mean, I don't even when people's like when I tell people about this, it's not ever like, oh, and you should watch the sequel.
Oh, well, yeah, well, obviously.
All right, general discussion.
General discussion. Start with ratings. Duncan, what did you think? This is, as we'll probably reiterate a couple times, probably more your wheelhouse than mine, just based upon real life interests. But what did you think of it?
I would say it's just plain fun. PLANE. Get it? Um, and if you take it for what it is, I think it is a lot of fun. I think it's a 4 out of 5 if you take it as that. If you are looking for something with substance, I would say it's probably more like a 3 out of 5.
I think for me, this is sitting right around 3, maybe a 2.5.
Well, sure, that makes more sense.
Well, I mean, even taking it for what it was, it felt to me kind of confused on what it wanted to be. I don't know. We can get into it in a bit. Well,
Well, where
I
do you want to
mean,
start?
uh, some of you in the audience may already be aware. I'm clearly already aware because I know my brother. You are a diver in real life. It's used to be
So are
your
you?
main source of income. It's your biggest hobby. You do it all the time. So I watching this kind of the internal question I have is okay, how accurate is this compared to diving? Even if you're not like in like the literal Bahamas all the time, even though
Sure.
you've done some traveling, but like, is this realistic, or are we dealing with like James Bond Thunderball levels of ridiculous?
It's a bit of both. So, and again, actually, if you're ever if you just YouTube search Into the Blue BTS behind the scenes, like they showed they did all of it. Like none of this is CGI. None of this was in a controlled tank in Hollywood. This is all like
I did
everything
notice
that
that. That was
happened. They
cool.
did do. And apparently Jessica Alba has been certified since she was a kid and loves it.
Well, that makes sense.
That being said, like the opening scene, which is like Paul Walker basically just being a like herding cats underwater, all the tourists, the big fat guy in the
Hmm.
speedo.
Hmm.
That's very realistic. That is exactly what you're going to see. And if you look, granted, I'm sure it's just for the shot, but in a lot of times that's what you'll see in the tropics, where it's people who are not either not certified or they're like just the bare bones, like, oh, come take a day class and then by the end you'll be in the ocean. They're only in like 12 feet of water. Like if you look up, the boat is actually like right there.
Well, I mean, and I kind of noticed that for like the entire movie. Like, there is obviously they are actually diving, they are underwater, but like they never have to stop and equalize their oxygen levels. They're
Somewhat,
kind of
yes.
in like snorkeling level
Yes.
of depths the entire movie. Probably made it easier to
Hmm.
film, obviously.
And I think they even referenced in the behind the scenes, like, oh, most of this was in like 20 feet of water or so.
Sure.
The bit at the very beginning where the his boss at the time before he pushes him overboard is like, hey, where's my weight belt? All that weight is coming out of your paycheck. Like, A, that's a shitty thing to say, but also pretty relevant because lead is actually surprisingly very expensive. So all that stuff like kind of makes sense. Uh, I mean, I'm sure some more of the diving stuff will pop up as the discussion goes, but that's all the things at the very beginning that I caught. Boy, howdy, would Jessica Alba and Paul Walker's kids would be so ugly.
I mean, I don't know. Jessica Alba is attractive. Paul Walker was a relatively good looking guy at the time, so I don't know if they would be that ugly.
I was being sarcastic. I'm saying they would look be.
Oh,
I thought they'd be very attractive.
sure. I was gonna say like, I don't know, Duncan. That's a bad take.
No, the dude is like shredded as fuck. Which is again, if you are a like working dive master where you're diving like 6 times a day every day, you're not getting paid a lot, so you're probably
Oh,
not
you're super
eating
lean.
a ton. Yeah, super lean and free diving and all that. Like, yeah, super lean.
Yeah, I would say pretty much to a degree, everyone in this is pretty attractive. Like even Scott Conn in this, they
I
do play
cannot
up the fact that he
stand
is
Scott Kahn. Ugh.
well, he is playing an absolutely
Yes.
reprehensible, horrible douchebag in this,
Yes.
but
And he plays it well. He plays it
he
well.
does. He is kind of just playing a slightly less likable version of his character from the Ocean's movies. They are very similar.
Yes, similar for sure. And even Paul Walker is kind of just stuck in that 2000s like
Yeah.
gangster bro vibe the whole movie. And again, that is the time that this came out, so it makes sense. It's just there's so many bro lines throughout the whole movie.
Well, so once he found success with Fast and Furious franchise, he never made another kind of movie. I mean, he made things outside of that series, but they're all kind of the same thing. It's a bit like a
Yes.
Jason Statham.
Sure. I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I
Sure,
get it
sure.
to a certain degree. It's just to kind of make it's when you do something on something, okay, I know exactly what I'm getting, and sometimes that's a positive and sometimes that's a negative.
For sure, for sure. And speaking of knowing what you're getting, this is exactly what you think it's going to be.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, absolutely.
there's no surprises. Even the quote unquote twist with Josh Brolin, not
Yes.
really.
Oh yeah.
I so the reason why I didn't rate it higher is that they give you the plot line of, oh, we're gonna go find treasure and we're gonna have to kind of compete sort of in the same way that Nicolas Cage and Sean Bean were
Yep.
competing in
Oh yeah. Very similar. Yes.
uh,
National Treasure.
National
Yeah.
Treasure. And I was more interested in that plot. The once it becomes a crime action movie, I didn't find that as interesting. I didn't find myself really caring about that. I to me, having a fun adventure movie where you search for treasure is a lot more of an interesting concept, in my opinion. Which is why I think I rated this a little bit lower because once we, discovered the cocaine ship,
Mm-hmm.
we never really go back to that until after that storyline's finished and we have 5 minutes left in the movie.
Well, yeah. Once they realize, well, I get your points. I absolutely do. But then you realize, okay, Paul Walker and Jessica Alba clearly want nothing to do with the cocaine ship,
Sure. It's
and then
just
it's
that
the
little weasel of a friend.
well, yeah, Scott Conn, but also the bimbo, whatever.
She's well, yeah, she might be a bimbo.
Well, oh, when Jessica Alba calls her, you Kokor. Oh my god, dude, fantastic,
It's like the only time I
fantastic.
laughed while watching this. That was pretty funny.
What else? Oh yeah, the dagger that they find is crazy fake. Like it doesn't look
I
with like the plastic jewels on them, and I'm like, oh, this is rough looking.
so it
The
is, but
diving bell and
I
the
kind of
cannon and
wanted
everything they
them to
find, I'm
lean
like,
into that aesthetic. Give me more of like
no.
give me more of like the Goonies vibe. I think that'd be fun.
I see again when they found the diving bell, or the bell from the boat, and they're lifting the cannon with the lift bags, which again, all that is actually really accurate, which I appreciate.
I was about to ask, yeah.
Um, yeah, but and that okay, and then they pull out this like, oh, we found this dagger from like uh
Oh, and also it was
Spirit
buried under
Halloween.
like an inch of dirt.
Well,
Like
keep in
if
mind
it's
they
if
even
it
said throughout every time that there's a big hurricane or something, all the sand and stuff moves around, which that is accurate.
I guess I clearly this was not a high budget movie and that's
Sure.
fine. But the props in this you could tell.
Sure. No, absolutely, absolutely. So Brett, so a lot of the free diving I actually really liked, but
So when you say free diving, what do you mean by that?
they don't have tanks on their back. They're
Okay,
just swimming down with the long fins on.
got it.
So yeah, some of those shots are nice, but there's a few parts towards the end, especially when, yeah, it's in the last like 10 minutes when he's in the plane and he's kind of fighting around with Josh
Josh
Brolin.
Brolin, yeah.
So yeah, you might have a long breath hold. A lot of times that's when you
Oh
are
yeah.
not doing anything, like you're either static or you're just swimming. But when he's like little like fighting, smashing a tank into another tank to shoot the tank, which that in itself that's a whole nother story. But like you're exerting so much oxygen in your body into your muscles. Like yes, I know it's not going to be super realistic, but at some point, I don't know. If you were someone who knew what you were looking at, I think it would like bug you, but the common moviegoer, I think, wouldn't notice.
I I I guess I wasn't like I don't be like, oh, I'm better than the common moviegoer because I noticed. But like I did have the thought of like, okay, your buddy's probably using up the oxygen. So I did like the fact that they made a point to show him go back and retrieve like another couple breaths in from
Mm-hmm.
that extra tank he had from when
Yep.
Scott Conn was pretending to be a dead body. So there's like the plausible deniability that they kind of explain it, but the fact that he's essentially under the water doing like martial arts, I don't know about that.
Uh, so another bit that's bugged me, and like it's such a little thing, but towards the beginning when they first find the cocaine and they bring it on board, and they're like, "Oh, should we keep it? Should we not?" And eventually, Paul Walker cuts it open and just dumps it into the water. I'm like, okay, that's like sure the right thing to do, but I'm also like, you're just dumping drugs into the ocean. Also not a good thing.
Well, I mean, they do that on such a larger scale towards the end
Yes, they
when
do.
he's like brought back at gunpoint. It's like, oh, here's half your cocaine. So that's like
Yes.
an entire pallet's worth, because there was like two of that in the boat when they originally found it. An entire pallet's worth of cocaine just out in the water.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dead ecosystem.
Yeah. Oh,
There's no
absolutely. But my main issue with this entire movie is so obviously Jessica Alba and Paul Walker are together, and they're friends with Scott Kahn, but they've known this other bitch for like 24 hours. There are so many red flags where a normal person would be like, "Oh, we just don't need to invite her or bring her or like just
yeah.
leave her." Like she's really the issue for most of the movie is her.
Oh, almost all of it. Like she gets them into the fight at the bar, or not the bar, but like at the
Yes,
club
the club.
area. She ends up talking to the mob boss. She starts talking to the people who like board the boat. She
Yes.
is almost
Yes.
always the problem, if not like hand in hand with Scott Kahn's character.
Yep. Absolutely.
But you do kind of need someone generating conflict.
Yes, the catalyst for conflict. Yes. That's why eventually when she gets her leg bitten off with the shark, I'm like, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Well, I think the movie was also just okay with it, because it's mentioned that she dies, and then 5 minutes later, everyone has moved on and she's never mentioned again.
Well, they didn't know her for that long, right?
Well, right, but like, as you say, why would we care about all these other instances? Why are we talking to her?
Sure, sure.
So I did like that this was actually filmed in the Bahamas.
Yeah. So I
Like
didn't
if
realize
you stay through the credits, it says, oh, filmed on location thanks to the Bahamian film
Bohemian.
board, or what, something like that. So that was nice. They didn't film us in a tank,
Yeah, that was one of my notes. I was like, I wonder is the plane in a giant tank somewhere? I'm like, no, they actually did this, which is pretty cool.
and they didn't use a whole lot of CGI. I mean, there is some, and I think the CGI is a little noticeable sometimes, which is not ideal. But again, it's also 2000, and I don't remember what I said, 2005 or whatever.
Hmm.
So it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, there are a couple instances where we're following Pixie Cut Bimbo when she swims over to the cocaine plane while everyone
Hmm.
else is searching for stuff, and there's a clearly a CGI school of yellow fish that kind of swim up next to her and then swim away for dramatic effect. Didn't look very good. And then
Yeah.
the plane exploding at the end,
Oh yes.
that was questionable.
Well, that again referenced
But
earlier,
again,
but this the whole
2005.
well that also just wouldn't happen. So he hits the. I mean, technically, if you, I mean, the him hitting the small tank, which is called a pony bottle, into the valve of the bigger tank, which is an aluminum 80 cubic foot uh, tank of air.
Sure.
Yes, eventually, if you smacked it hard enough, you could whack the valve off technically, and yes, that would
Oh
be
yeah, those
a
are those
lot
are
of
on there
air.
real tight, I
Well,
would
yeah, yeah.
assume.
Well, it's pressure. It's air pressure that keeps them on there. Uh, but yes, that would propel the tank. But sure, that would that would do that. But the tank then going into what the fuel of the plane? Where is the spark? Where does the explosion come from? Like it's just a projectile. It's just a big like. There's no
Yeah, I don't
uh,
know.
explosive
I
to
I
it.
think they probably had someone be like, "Hey, we need an explosion."
Which, well, that plus, I even thought I was like, I wonder if it's written into his
No.
contract that Paul Walker in some way has to be in a car chase because it was short. Then when they were in the truck, real quick. But I'm like, oh, every movie, it's got to be in one.
Oh yeah, completely unnecessary. And it doesn't affect any outcomes. Like, yeah, they're
No.
following them around and they crash into someone else's car. They literally get out of the car and run away, and the guys just let them.
Yes.
It, I don't know. both that and the explosion at the end really felt like a studio note, like, hey, we can't just spend the entire movie diving, you need to have something that qualifies as like a traditional action movie staple.
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I think I know what I would change. What would you change?
I don't know if I'd really change. I mean, for what it is, I don't know if I have a ton of notes.
That's fair.
It's fun. It's not a good movie, but it's fun.
I I think I want a different movie. Because I think I want the same cast in a different plot that is slightly similar, but just doesn't have the cocaine subplot. I think I want like treasure hunt movie instead, which is probably my own fault for not
Well, that's
appreciating it for what it
almost
is.
Sahara, almost.
It reminded me of parts of Sahara and parts of Fool's Gold, if you've ever seen that.
I think I've seen bits and pieces. I don't know if I've actually ever seen it. Is that
It's Matthew McConaughey and
Kate
Kate
Hudson?
Hudson in a very similar plot, I'll be honest.
I think this easily buckets.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Shark?
Shark, you could do sodas in a scuba tank. You could
Yeah.
do the super like on the nose one and give them a sunken treasure chest that you could put popcorn in. I think very easily buckets. I think if anything, based upon the way that they end this one, I think I want another one so we actually get the plot of them raising all the gold and stuff like that.
I just don't know if you have a whole movie for that.
Well, maybe not.
Which, granted, again, I don't know what Into the Blue #2 is even about or what, but they did something, obviously.
Hmm.
What I also found interesting in the behind the scenes stuff, so they were working hours and hours in the water for filming purposes, whereas yes, it's still quote warm water, so it's like 73 degrees.
Yeah.
Anyone who's, a diver, that's not that warm. And they have to act like it's like extra tropical. That's why they're all, shirtless and in bikinis. And if you watch behind the scenes, everyone else is in like 7mm wetsuits, hoods, gloves. Like apparently everyone was freezing the entire time.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess yeah. To me, just thinking about it, 71 degrees sounds warm, but I wouldn't really know. I guess.
Well, and so water also like sucks the heat out of you. It basically it cools you off 4 times faster than air does. So yeah, if water is warm, yeah, but if you're
Well,
just
I mean,
sitting
yeah.
there, it's just gonna you're gonna get cold. I think. Let's see. I was looking at Paul Walker. I was like, I bet if he grew out his hair a little bit and didn't fall into Fast and the Furious from the beginning, if he had a different path, he's enough of a like leading man at the time, like athletic enough, like uh I was like, okay, he kind of gives me Daniel Craig vibes. I'm like, okay, could he have been Bond if he had, gone down a different path originally? Because
Possibly.
I think you're right. Once he became uh that guy, he kind of stuck with being the bro guy.
Sure. I mean, in the same way, I think if Marvel had not sold so many of their rights to Sony back in the
Mhm.
early 2000s, you could have absolutely put him into the Captain America suit and he would have looked great.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. Absolutely. Clean shaven, grow his hair out a little bit. Yeah, I think that would look good.
Yeah. I mean, I think he'd be a good choice for that. But, that is not the reality in which we live. Well, I think we're probably all noted out for
Yep.
Into the Blue. So we're going to transition into what we're looking forward to watching, what we've watched on the side. Duncan, what have you seen? What are you looking forward to watch? What trailers are getting you excited?
Well, the Super Bowl was this last week.
It's very true.
Um the continuing adventures of Cliff Booth. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm excited.
I'm weirdly enough, I'm excited because Tarantino is not involved. And
Well,
which is a weird take for me
the
to have because Tarantino is great. I love Tarantino movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is so self-indulgent and so like made for people who grew up in the 70s and
Yes.
80s and knew all about like the Manson family murders and all the stuff. Who would
Yes.
appreciate the alternative history take that they did for that movie. I almost get almost nothing out of that movie. All outside of it's got great performances and it looks fantastic. That story does not grab me at all. I think if you want to tell me the story of a down and out stuntman who might have ties to organized crime, in the inner workings of Hollywood, I think that sounds like so much more of an interesting story. So
Well,
I
here, let
think
me
I'm
let me let
more
me rephrase this.
interested in
I
that.
I'm interested in the story. Just the trailer, it was so the lighting and the cinematography was not as like if you watch even just the trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood versus that, there's a vibrancy that I think that's what I was missing. Which David Fincher is pretty consistently known for not having overly vibrant movies. His are pretty
Yeah,
toned down and dark.
he likes to usually I would say he likes to match the story tone of his movies with the way he lights them. They're all pretty grim, they're all pretty dark
Yeah,
visually as well.
which is in because
So
again, the
this will be
first like
a bit of a departure from that. So I think that's interesting as well.
so we'll see. I don't remember what other if there were any other trailers this week.
There was a super underwhelming Mandalorian and Grogu
Oh yeah,
trailer
what
where
man? No one gives a shit about this.
that trailer specifically, and I mean, you're right, no one gives a shit about it, but that trailer specifically was such a misstep because
Well,
it's
I get they were pointing fun at
parodying,
the Budweiser thing.
right, they're parodying a Budweiser commercial from like the late 70s to the middle 80s. No one who likes the Mandalorian, I mean, cares about that. No one understood that. People had to go online and figure out what was going on because it's such a boring commercial. It's just them being pulled by tauntauns. That does not make me want to watch your movie.
No, yeah, when you don't really like, there's no clear plot. They're like, oh, what is this movie even really about?
And even the plot that we know of from the other commercials is like, okay, so they're just doing a regular old job for another crime boss. It's not like a big like lore thing. They're
No,
not finding out about Grogu's parents. They're not doing anything with anything else. It it really feels like they cobbled together a movie length script based upon several different episode ideas.
which again, I think I don't know if I'm not definitely not going opening weekend. I will probably see it at some point, but like, I, I just I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to see this, which is such a weird thing
Yeah,
for a Star Wars. Because even the sequel movies, I'm like, oh, I still want to go see them when they came out.
absolutely. I remember seeing both. I mean, I know I saw Force Awakens more than once. I also know I saw Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker twice,
Yeah,
and I don't really care
exactly.
for those movies. Rise of Skywalker, I kind of hate.
It's not great. Well, that's a whole separate. I mean, we've talked Star Wars on it this podcast before, people, but yeah, it's not great.
And if you would like to hear that,
Uh,
that's on our May the 4th Be With You episode. So track that down if you want.
I didn't watch the trailer, but I've seen a ton of stills from Spider Noir,
Yeah.
which I think
I don't
looks like a lot of
know.
fun.
Weirdly enough, I didn't like seeing him swinging around. I mean, I know it's very much you can't have a Spider-Man that doesn't web swing, but seeing Nicolas Cage in a trench
I
coat
get I
web
get what you're
swinging is a
saying.
little weird.
I get what you're
But
saying.
on the whole, I'm looking forward to it. Who doesn't like Nicolas Cage?
No, and I who doesn't like a noir? And I like that you have options on watching it in black and white and or color.
Yeah. And the cinematography looks pretty good.
Yeah,
It looks like they're really taking advantage of the amount of contrast you can do with black and white.
yes, agreed.
Like they essentially recreated one of my favorite shots from Watchmen, where you have Rorschach
Yes.
on top of the building edge and it's raining and you got the lightning behind him. They pretty
Hmm.
much recreated it one for one. Still an amazing shot. It's not a trailer per se, but I did hear news that Brendan Fraser and
Oh,
Rachel
yep.
Weisz are coming back for Mummy 4, which,
Mm-hmm.
as much as we like to dog on legacy sequels for nothing more than cash grabs, maybe I
I'm
could be
okay with
talked
that.
around to this particular cash grab.
Well, it depends on how they do it, but yeah, I'm definitely open to it. Wuthering Heights opened today. Tonight was opening night, and like setting up the movie at my work. Again, I will probably eventually watch it. I don't know if I'll pay money for it, but it looks amazing. Like all the costuming and the set design, it almost feels Del Toro esque in a lot of ways.
I have read so many reviews saying it is awful.
On the other side of it, uh, it's pretty steamy. If you're looking for a period piece softcore porn to a certain degree,
Yeah, I've heard that
but
it is kind of hollow, but like visually interesting porn. Yeah.
well, I mean, the at the end of the movie, like I go in to like clean up, and like most of the people that are leaving, everyone's crying. So, I mean, there are emotional beats that at least hit. At least that's
Oh, okay.
something. For movies that I've seen this last week, and all of this is also, if you want to hear a kind of also a quick rundown of this kind of stuff, Dunk's Movie Corner is like a literally a 10-minute podcast where I just ramble and rant about what I watched in a week. If you're curious, but either way, I rewatched Prey, which is the
Nice.
2022 Predator, not prequel, but just set in a earlier time, I guess, on the 1700s. It's great.
Right.
Um, yeah, no notes. I watched Clear and Present Danger, which is the sort of sequel to Patriot Games. Both are Harrison Ford. Both are based off uh, John Clancy novels, where he's
Sure.
a guy named Jack Ryan. John Krasinski has made a show out of it. I think that's on Amazon Prime. That's just
Yeah, I
called
think
Jack
they actually
Ryan.
ended it recently, but it ran for a few years.
Either way, the first one, Patriot Games, I was really underwhelmed with. This was much, much better. It's still not, I think, amazing. But again, there's so many Harrison Ford movies that I just didn't realize are out there. I rewatched You Got Mail, which it's great.
Oh, Tom
I
Hanks
don't
and what's her
love
name?
it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Right.
I don't overly care for Meg Ryan. Uh, but there's no way you can watch any Tom Hanks movie and not at some point have a smile. Like he's just so likable.
Oh, I mean, it's his entire brand. He is the likable everyman actor.
Yes, well, just like the like, I don't know, that throughout the movie really sells it. Plus, I don't know what it is, and I talked about this at length on my podcast, but uh, there's something about the '90s and New York that really hit.
Oh,
Like for rom-coms, like when Harry Met Sally, this Sleepless in Seattle, just being in like a big city, and or Home Alone or Home Alone 2 or whatever, all those scenes where it's like Central Park or whatever, just it's got this such a cozy feel to it that I cannot explain.
hmm.
It just, I don't know, it's magical. I watched something called Colossal. This is
Oh,
from
I've seen that.
2016. Sorry.
I just saying. Oh, I've seen that.
Oh, you wait, the one with Anne Hathaway?
I remember going with the parents and watching it when it was in theaters for like a week back in the day.
Really? I mean, I've never heard of this. Her and Jason Sudeikis.
I think that's an underrated gem. I think it's actually really interesting.
It's I think it's a really interesting concept, and actually the poster is cool, and the CGI for the monster and the robot. I
Hmm.
don't want to say any more than that, just in case people find this and watch this, and
Sure.
it's now on Netflix. Is cool. The third act, where it all kind of quote falls apart. Uh, I don't know. I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. There wasn't a whole lot of, I don't know. It didn't stick the landing for me. So 3 out of 5. Um,
Fair.
Into the Blue, we already talked about that, and then I also watched. I don't even know how I found this on Netflix. It just was a suggestion. The Mirror Has Two Faces. This is from 1996.
Never heard of
It's
it.
it stars Jeff Bridges, Pierce Brosnan, and Barbara Streisand. It's
Okay.
directed by Barbara Streisand.
Odd.
It's so basically both Barbara Streisand and Jeff Bridges are different college professors. Jeff Bridges is realizing, hey, I want a companion for life. I don't want to deal about sex. I just want like a friend. So I want to put an ad out in the paper for someone who legitimately doesn't like, I don't want to be physically attracted to them. So he meets Barbara Streisand, who she's a professor of like romantic literature, and then she's like, "Oh, maybe like I'm okay with this. He's like a really nice guy, and we get along." And then they get married, and then she's like, "Well, actually, I do want to have sex." He's like, "Well, I don't." And then they break up. And then of course, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I think I do." And then goes chases after her. But like, I
Okay.
don't. He's like, he's very charming. Jeff Bridges is a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Um, I don't get like I'm sure maybe at the era she was this big thing. I
I've
don't
never understood the
I
Barbara
don't
Streisand hype either.
I don't get it. Like
Like, I
at
know she
all.
was a huge name in like the 80s and 90s. I
Yes.
don't understand the appeal. Like, it's not an insult to her. Like
No, not at
she's
all.
not like ugly. I don't understand. Like, she's not like she's not like gorgeously beautiful. She's not
No.
hugely a talented actress. She's
No.
fine.
Yeah.
I know her big thing was that, oh, she also sings, but okay, so I don't know. I've never gotten it either.
So that's the last thing I watched.
Okay.
Yeah, what have since we kind of already talked trailers, what have you seen this week, Hayden? If any?
Well, I've rewatched some stuff just because due to some other life stuff happening, I've been super stressed out. So I watched some quote unquote comfort movies at home, as you do. So I watched Paddington 2, which is
That is
I
quintessential.
I think it is genuinely one of the best movies ever made. It's so cozy and so like the entire movie is so warm and happy. Like it's such a nice experience every time I watch it. It's so great. Um on the other side of that, I watched Saw 2, which is kind of also a comfort movie for different reasons. Uh it makes me super uncomfortable the entire time. I know I just said comfort movie and then uncomfortable, but like um I really like the Saw franchise. I don't know, it's hard to explain. So I watched that. And then right before we were recording, I was watching the uh yeah, I was watching The Dark Crystal, which is really great. It's the Jim Henson dark fantasy, sort of a kids movie, sort of not, sort of has puppets, sort of live action. It's great. If you've never seen The Dark Crystal, I would recommend you watch it. It's available on Tubi, and as well, I believe it's also on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Uh,
Solid.
and the and the other two movies I watched are ones that I own physically. I would say I would still like to watch Iron Lung, but I don't know if I want to pay for it. It's already had its landmark success as being a YouTuber movie and making a bunch of money, so not that I would ever go out to movies simply to support it, but I don't feel like I need to now. I think it's going to come to streaming eventually. If anything, Markiplier will probably just put it up on his channel since he owns it. So
Sure.
probably within the coming weeks, I'd like to watch that probably at home. Is there anything else? Oh, so we were talking about the Mummy earlier, and so separate from the Mummy 4 with Brendan
Yes,
Fraser,
there's another one.
a direct remake of the Boris Karloff Mummy, which is not an action adventure, but is definitely more of a horror film, got its own release date, got its own posters, and that's being done by the same director who did Evil Dead Rise. So I'm looking forward to that. And then speaking of Evil Dead, there's an announcement out for the next one in the franchise called Evil Dead Burn, I believe. Which
I think it's Wrath.
Wrath? I thought it was Burn. Did they change
I
it?
saw Wrath.
You're right. It was Wrath. Yes, yes. But still, that's cool too. I love Evil Dead, so that'll be cool. Well, I think we're all done with all of our stuff, all of our topics we wanted to cover. Duncan, what are we watching next week?
So we might be watching Have Fun, Good Luck, Don't Die, which is coming out, I believe, either this week or I think it must be this week if we're potentially recording it next week.
I think so.
So we might be watching that, and or we might be watching The Postman, which I believe is Kevin Costner.
Yep, the long
We
Kevin
might be watching
Costner
something. I don't know. We
thing.
might be watching something else. Who knows? Uh, so obviously, stay tuned. Watch on our Instagram page. That might be more telling about what we might be watching, or check back on
Sure.
Spotify or YouTube in the coming week or so. Otherwise, this is episode 81, if I remember right what I said at the top, or 82. I can't honestly remember. We have talked about Into the Blue. We've talked about things we've watched, things we're looking forward to. We spent 47 minutes or so of pre-edit talking at or to you all, whoever's listening. So appreciate the time, and we will catch you all next week.